2, 1. And we are live again here at Barcelona Metropolitan with my friend Liana. How you doing, Liana?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you, Victor?
I'm excited. There's a lot of great stuff going on. I have a couple of speeches that I have to do today. I did one last night. I'm really pumped about it at the Círculo Equestre, which is kind of a very prestigious club here for business people. And that one went off really well. And so I'm looking forward to another one tonight. I think it's more like 200 or 300 people, so it's a little bit bigger. And, you know, it was Father's Day yesterday, and I got all kinds of pictures of my daughter sending me stuff. And one actually came back from Uganda, and she was in Kenya for a while. And actually, we had made a date to be here. I didn't realize it was going to be Father's Day because I always thought of Father's Day in the US, and it was Father's Day yesterday. But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you. So, you know, I was hoping that we can learn a little bit more about you, where you're from, what your story is, why you're in Barcelona. But if you can, maybe a quick introduction done by yourself, and maybe you'll keep it kind of short so that we can jump into the questions because you got a lot of really good ones.
Yes, sure.
Go ahead.
First of all, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's really such a privilege to be here today. I also want to thank everyone else that joined us live. Just a little fun fact, when I met Victor at the Swedish Beers networking event for the MWC, he basically dragged me across the room, making everyone guess where I'm from. So I want to extend that challenge today and ask you to comment down below to guess where I'm from before I actually tell you that. So my journey,
okay, nice.
My journey took me across 3 continents, together with my 2 young children, ages 4 and 8. And after spending 4 years studying and teaching in Bangkok, Thailand, I built quite a strong foundation in education. And I do consider myself a lifelong learner. It's very important for me to feel like I keep learning. My entrepreneurial journey began in the UK in 2017 as a childbirth assistant, where I was guiding individuals through the childbearing year, and also giving them the tools to empower themselves to make informed decisions. So as an entrepreneur, I had to maintain my own WordPress website, which required some basic HTML and CSS knowledge. And one day I entered this workshop at a coding bootcamp school here in Barcelona. And this really beautiful Lebanese girl was talking about a full stack bootcamp. And to be honest, I felt drawn by the complexity of it because I do love challenges. And I also do blame my mom for making me believe that I can be whatever I want to be as long as I put my mind to it. So thanks, Mom. I know you're watching today. So before I knew it, I found myself signed up to a full stack bootcamp, and I transitioned into software development in 2022, where I was working as a front-end developer for a company specializing in generative AI, now called AudioStack. And this is also where I really got to work with a diverse group of people and discovered my passion for working with people. So my love for technology and my passion for working with people matched perfectly with the position that Unsicale offered me. So I joined Unsicale as a sales representative and eventually moved into a leadership role as a team lead, where I can now really leverage my interpersonal skills effectively while also still talking about software development, which I really love.
Thanks. That was a nice, very complete, thorough intro. I want to. You mentioned a couple of companies here, and the last one that you're at Unsicale. Can you provide an overview of your company's mission and how it aligns with creating job opportunities for the expats here in Barcelona?
Sure. Unsicale really enables everyone to build, scale, and also deliver software products up to 46% faster than the traditional way. And we do this with our no-code AI-driven software development kit, where we unite stakeholders in one system, moving past silo-based tools and also to speed up software delivery. But our mission, it really centers around our core values, which is people, passion, and power. And that allows us to prioritize inclusivity and also diversity, recognizing and valuing the unique contributions of expats in Barcelona. So yeah, combining these values, we really enrich our culture and also contribute to the economic prosperity and social integration in Barcelona.
Excellent. Well, Metropolitan, here we like to inform, educate, and entertain the international community of Barcelona. And one of the things that I really liked when we first met and chatting about, what you do and the mission, um, was that the issue of trying to find a job is near and dear to the hearts, basically, of everybody, not just of expats. But once you're in another country, when you're looking for a job, it becomes even more important, I think, because if sometimes your visa is tied to it, you need to leave the country, or your prospects for, career development can be hampered if you don't have as many opportunities in the language that's your own. And so I was hoping that maybe you could chat about some of the challenges that you see that expats face.
Of course, expats often face language barriers, as you mentioned. Also, I find unfamiliarity with local job markets is quite a big thing, and difficulties obtaining work permits. So, as a Danish software company, Uniscale is leveraging the success of our established model that we created in Copenhagen, which we replicated and scaled across borders to Barcelona. So, of course, this expansion not only enhances our global presence, but it also creates promising job opportunities for expats here in Barcelona, where they can actually utilize their native language to build a career. And
Oh, excellent.
that's great. Yeah.
Well, that's a fantastic way to build on it. Can you share some success stories or maybe some examples of how, I guess, expats have found employment through your company's initiatives, approach, your platform?
Yeah, so in January 2024, Uniscale successfully expanded its sales department from Copenhagen to Barcelona, where we welcomed 4 new sales representatives, and amongst them are individuals from very diverse backgrounds. So including Italy, the UK with Pakistani roots, and also Colombia. And after thorough training in Copenhagen, they seamlessly transitioned to our new Barcelona offices, where they have since made a really significant contribution to our company's growth and success.
Okay. And so how do these, if you're in Barcelona, but it's a Danish company, you got people in different continents. How does your team collaborate to identify and enhance sales opportunities within your target markets?
Mm-hmm. Our team really employs a collaborative approach, also combining market research and insights from various different departments, and to really understand customer needs. Also taking a look at market dynamics, and through cross-functional brainstorming, regular meetings, we align on strategies to capitalize on opportunities and refine our sales approach. In my opinion, open communication is always very important, and together with feedback loops, we ensure that we're aligned with the company goals and also driving sustainable growth in the target markets.
Okay, well, these are very professional sounding responses that you're giving. And what
I'm
kind of
well.
strategies? And you've been clearly doing this for a while, so you're very good at it. So what kind of strategies does your team employ to adapt to sales approaches?
Yeah, that's a really question, a good question. And also this has been quite an interesting journey for us because we are targeting different markets from Barcelona. And our team, the sales approach is really integrating cultural sensitivity. And we do that by personalized communication and also localized marketing strategies to effectively engage with the diverse cultural backgrounds of expats in and around Barcelona.
All right. And in what ways does your company support expats in their professional development? Career growth beyond just initial job placements. Once they're in, then what do you do?
Yes, so Uniscale support expats in their professional development and career growth through mentorship, Also, we do skills training workshops and offering network opportunities and resources for continuing education, empowering them to really thrive beyond their initial job placement to create a job for them and a career path that they want.
Okay. Now, why did you choose Barcelona?
That's a really good question. And that's quite like on a personal level, I came here for love. That's the truth. That's the answer. That's what brought me here. But if I had to choose and exclude the love factor, I actually came to Barcelona when I was working on the cruise ships in a previous lifetime. And that was my first encounter in Barcelona, which was more than 10 years ago, actually. And I remember standing in La Rambla de Catalunya and thinking like, wow, this is a really nice place. Never actually thought that I would live here. But I would choose Barcelona over and over and over again because I love the diversity. I love that we have the mountain and we have the beach, which is very important. So, yes.
Okay, so you came for love, but you stayed for work, the mountains, the weather,
yes.
food.
The food, yes, the people. Yeah.
And so what's been the biggest challenge to setting up Unsicale here in Barcelona?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that's the biggest challenge probably in the beginning was like finding an office space, which it's not such a big challenge, but it was like, where can we be that's central? And has that really nice, like metropolitan kind of feeling to it. So that, and also we are employing through an employment of record company. So that just also took some time to really understand all the legal aspect of having an office here in Barcelona.
What does that mean, employer of record?
Yeah, so we have it's a third party that is basically employed by Unsicale, but because we have to abide by Spanish laws, so we have to have that middleman to employ people here in Barcelona.
I see. And if you had to do something over again, like are there any screw ups that maybe you can recount that aren't too bad, nothing personal or too embarrassing, but if there's any screw ups that you might have been able to share, because we all make mistakes and the best way to learn from them is maybe sharing them with others, or maybe ensuring that the lesson of the mistake was properly learned so it's not repeated. And anything that you can share, any funny anecdote?
That's a good one. I'm thinking, yeah. So what would I change? Any mistakes that I made? I would say for me, it's quite like being in a leadership position is really, it's something in my comfort zone because I love working with people. Though transitioning from transitioning into the leadership position, I would say what I would change there is how I make myself available for people on the terms of coaching them and guiding them. And I don't see it as a hierarchy. I want to have it as a inclusive environment where people feel they can really approach me with anything and come to me and talk to me about personal work related things. I don't know if there's an anecdote to that, but I think that just by being myself, being honest, being open, keeping open communication, and letting people know that I'm there for them as a team lead, but also as an individual, as a human being.
The reason I asked was I think you're in a unique position to see some of the challenges that manifest themselves when you have different cultures. male female relationships or interactions, and then even within male female, from within the same country, at least you have the same cultural understandings or contexts. But then when you start introducing people from different countries, I think that would be a bit of a challenge to try to manage that, as well as finding good candidates that can adapt. I remember I made two huge mistakes that you thought I'd learn from them. For example, I used to be the manager in a bank, and it was my first day as being a manager of the bank. So I had risen, and we were pretty active. We had a lot of employees. And one day, I didn't schedule it, but I was in charge of it. And on that day, it turns out that all of the people who were bank tellers, they were all Muslim. And we had a big line of customers that wanted to, to do their banking operations and whatever. They need to get money out, they need to put money in, they need to cash their checks. It was a Friday night, and then all of a sudden, all of my tellers close their windows, and they tell me they have to go. And I was freaking out. I have this huge line of people, and they say, "Nope, it's time to pray to Mecca." I was like, "What?" And, it was a mistake to put all these people in there, but at the same time, you're not allowed to ask about their religion, and you want to be sensitive to. And I didn't do the scheduling because it was my very first day, and so I thought that was a disaster. I figured I'd be better prepared to make sure that people weren't of the same religion at the same time. Well, the next time they did it, I didn't realize, in my own ignorance, I had a lot of Jewish friends, but again, it was a Friday night. The next night we didn't have all of the Muslims, all my Muslim friends there, but they had the Sabbath, which I also didn't realize, and that was like the next week. Anyhow, these were like silly things that you learned but it was, I had 50 people waiting in line to get service, and all of a sudden people left because they had their personal priorities, which was obviously we're going to be respectful of. But that was a bit of a challenge, and I thought I would have learned with the first one, and still I made the same mistake again the second time. And in terms of if you were to do another city, not Barcelona, is there one that you would choose in the world?
Perhaps Netherlands. Amsterdam would be amazing. For a couple of different reasons, except that it's a really fun city and you can be whoever you want. No one's going to judge you. So I think business-wise, it could be quite a good one for software development. I know it is definitely one of the big tech hubs, and that could be a good city to expand to. Yeah.
Okay. And one last thing.
Not that is on the roadmap, but I'm just imagining. So yeah,
it's always kind of cool. One of the things I love about Barcelona is that within an hour or 2 hours of flight, you can be so many different places in Europe or Africa, and it's always kind of curious to see where people are thinking. I love emerging markets, and here in Barcelona, which is one of the reasons that I moved here, because I was in I was in the U.S. and I was starting to do a lot of business in Nigeria and South Africa. And Barcelona was kind of a nice halfway point to the sub-Saharan Africa. And it's just, there's so many options when you're here. In addition to the weather, the good food, the good sports, nice people, clean city, you have the ability to travel within 1 or 2 hours on a flight and be in so many different really cool places in Europe. Anyway, with people who would like to get in touch with you, what is the best way to do so afterwards?
Yeah, you can contact me on LinkedIn. I have all my details there, so feel free to send me a message, and I will be happy to hear from you.
Okay. Anything that we can do for you, Metropolitan can do for you, Liana?
I think this has been a really great opportunity. I want to keep building this relationship because building relationships is very important for me. I'm not really going anywhere. And I would like to see where this relationship goes. I know I'm going to see you at a couple of events. You mentioned your event today that you have.
Yes,
maybe
let me
that.
take advantage of since I had not informed you. Tonight we have the happy hour. It's the expat happy hour at a place called the Dry Martini. It's on Aribao. It's very well known, prestigious bar that it's an icon here in Barcelona. It's going to be from 8 to 11. It's very informal. You come when you want, you leave when you want. You don't have to sign up, so we'd love to have people there. And then tomorrow night, if you can't make it tonight because it's short notice, I'm also co-founder for the BCN FinTech community here in Barcelona. And you can look at us on LinkedIn. It's BCN FinTech. And we have a speaker. We have an event every month, and we try to have speakers and kind of a panel or one invited guest who we interview. And then the next month is just pure networking. So drinking and talking about FinTech. And that's what's going to happen tomorrow night. So if you want to come, it's filled with nerds, women and men who are big time nerds to talk about payment processing, blockchain stuff, traditional banking, neo banking, FinTech things. And it's just a big giant nerd fest. But everybody's really cool. And what we're trying to do, Liana, is give visibility to the movers and shakers of the FinTech community here in Barcelona. It's starting to get a lot of visibility, but not anywhere the amount that I think it deserves. One big advancement. I don't know if you saw earlier, or I should say Friday morning, we were in the Financial Times. They did a focus on the startup community leaders. My friend Alex was in it. My co-founder Elliot was in it. This young lady from Portugal, she's a really cool entrepreneur. Julieta was in it. And anyhow, I invite you to these things, and I hope to see you there. I'm sure going to see you around because we move in very similar circles. And I wanted to say thank you for coming and sharing some time with you, educating us a little about Unsicale and about yourself. And I don't know how you want to handle the whole thing about people guessing where you're from. Do you want to leave it for the comment section?
I will break the news. I'm originally from South Africa, but I will check in the comments and see how many of you got it right. But yeah, thank you so much, Victor. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And yes, we will definitely see each other around. Looking forward to the next event and joining you there.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay. Can you stick with me for a little bit?